Today, we are not talking about choosing yourself in the usual way. We are going deeper. Because sometimes, the moment you need to choose yourself most is not when life is hard, but when temptation looks easy, harmless, and very small. In this episode, we will slowly look at why small temptations can pull us away from ourselves, and how to truly choose yourself before you lose yourself to the comfort right in front of you. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Wendy, and you're listening to Heal and Grow Podcast. You know, to put it simply, we rarely lose ourselves all at once. We lose ourselves slowly, through the small comforts that become daily habits. Choosing laziness because working feels hard. Choosing distraction because focus feels uncomfortable. Choosing temporary fun because growth takes time. It never feels like a big decision in the moment. But one day, we may look back and wonder how we became so far away from the life we once dreamed about. And maybe this is why many people, at some point in life, begin to lose themselves without realizing it. Not because they were born weak, not because they do not know what is right, but sometimes they stay in the wrong environment for too long. They stay with the wrong people for too long. They hear too many negative words. They live under pressure for too long. And when a person feels tired, lonely, stressed, or lost, they can let go of themselves more easily than usual. When the mind becomes weak, temptation becomes stronger. When the heart feels empty, the wrong things can sometimes look like comfort. When a person is no longer connected to their values, they can easily be pulled by the crowd, by approval, by money, by temporary feelings, or by people who do not truly want the best for them. I have read many stories and many recent news stories, and I asked myself, why do some people seem to have everything: fame, money, success, and admiration, but still fall, still break down, and still lose themselves in a way that is hard to understand? Maybe because outside success does not always mean inner strength. A person can look very successful in front of the world, but still feel very fragile inside. A person can have many things, but if they lack awareness, boundaries, good friends, and a healthy environment, they can still be carried away. So the question is not only why did they fall? The deeper question is, what slowly makes a person move away from themselves? Because losing yourself usually does not happen in one day. It begins with small moments when you stop listening to your inner voice. The moments when you know something is not good for you, but you still choose it. The moments when you let your environment, your emotions, or other people decide for your values. And if we are not awake and aware, one day we may look back and realize we are no longer the person we once wanted to become. But first, I want to tell you about a psychology effect behind why it is so hard for us to say no to temptations in front of us. It is called present bias. In simple words, present bias is the tendency to choose a small reward that we can have right now, instead of a bigger reward that we have to wait for in the future. When both choices are in the future, we usually think more clearly. For example, if we have to choose between resting today and becoming successful after many years, everyone knows that success is more important. But when temptation is right in front of us, entertainment on the phone, delicious food, comfort, or a fun moment, the brain starts to react differently. It no longer asks, what is good for me in the long term? It only wants to feel satisfied right now. Simply put, present bias makes our brain make the joy of the present feel bigger, and makes the future cost feel less clear. When you learn about present bias, you may realize that sometimes the problem is not that you are lazy, weak, or lack willpower. It is simply that the human mind is designed to be attracted to things that feel good right now. And for me, the most dangerous thing is that present bias does not appear like a big storm. It is more like a boat slowly moving a few degrees away from its original direction. At first, almost nothing looks different. But if it keeps moving a little off course every day one day, you look back and realize you are very far from the place you once wanted to reach. Temptation is the same. It rarely destroys us in just one day. The dangerous thing is that it makes us sell our own future for very small pleasures in front of us. Every time we choose short comfort instead of long-term good, we quietly move further away from discipline, from our dreams, and from the person we once promised ourselves we would become. And you know what? One gentle but powerful way to escape present bias is practicing gratitude. Many temptations do not come from what we truly want. They often come from what we feel we are missing. Maybe we are missing rest, joy, love, or the feeling that we are enough. When we feel empty, our brain looks for something quick to make us feel better. Food, shopping, scrolling, entertainment, or attention from others. But gratitude helps us pause. When you feel thankful for what your past self has done, the days you kept going, the times you tried again, the moments you did not give up, you begin to treat yourself with more kindness. You realize that your life today is built from many small efforts in the past. And when you see that, you also want to give something good to your future self. Discipline no longer feels like punishment. It becomes a gift. It becomes a way of saying, I care about the person I am becoming. Maybe one day, your future self will look back and say, thank you for choosing what was right, even when it was hard. That is why gratitude is so powerful. It helps us enjoy the present, respect our past, and protect our future. In fact, Professor David DeSteno and his colleagues found something very interesting. Gratitude can help people become more patient. When we feel grateful, we are less controlled by the small reward in front of us. We can wait a little longer for something better in the future. In simple words, gratitude softens the voice in our mind that says, I want it right now. It helps us pause, breathe, and look a little further. It reminds us that we are not only living for today's comfort, we are also building tomorrow's life. So if time management helps us use our mind to stay disciplined, gratitude helps us use our heart to choose better. It does not force us to try harder. It gently says, you have already come a long way. You deserve a better future. And every right choice you make today is a gift for your future self. And one very important way to avoid losing yourself in front of temptation is to design a better environment for yourself. Many times we do not fail because we are weak. We fail because we stay in a place where temptation can win too easily. If you want to focus, but your phone is always next to you, one small notification can pull your mind away. I am also learning this. When I need to write or do deep work, I put my phone farther away or turn off some notifications. Not because I have perfect self-control, but because I know I can be distracted easily. If you want to live more peacefully, but you are always around people who pull you into complaining, comparing, or unhealthy fun, it will be very hard to keep your inner peace. Choosing your friends is not arrogance. It is a way to protect your energy. If you want to eat better or sleep earlier, do not only tell yourself, I must be more disciplined. Make the right choice easier. Prepare better food at home. Put your phone away before bed. Lower the light. Make your room calmer. That is how important environment is. It quietly teaches us what is normal. A good environment helps us remember who we want to become. But an environment full of temptation, pressure, and comparison can make us forget what truly matters. So do not only ask, how can I become stronger? Ask yourself, what can I change around me so it is easier for me to make better choices? Sometimes, beating temptation does not mean forcing yourself to be strong all the time. Sometimes it means knowing your weakness, moving away from what easily pulls you down, and choosing a safer place where you can become the person you truly want to be. And maybe this is what I want to leave with you after today's episode. Temptation may make you feel good for the next 10 minutes, but overcoming it can give you a more peaceful, healthy, joyful, and meaningful life for the next 10 years. 1 hour of delay may only give you a little comfort right now. One wrong choice may only give you a little fun for a short time. One time of giving in to yourself may look very small, but life is built from small things repeated again and again. The important thing to remember is this. Whether the choice is good or bad, in the end, we are the ones who have to live with its results. No one can exercise for you. No one can study for you. No one can heal for you. And no one can live your life for you. So before every temptation, maybe pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I choosing a little comfort for the next few minutes? Or am I choosing a peaceful and meaningful life for many years later? Let your future self look back one day and smile. Thank you for not giving up on that day. Thank you for saying no to the things that made us weaker, so we could say yes to the life we truly deserve. And if there is one thing I hope you carry with you today, it is this. Be brave enough to say no to the temptations that are pulling you away from yourself. Not because you are taking joy away from yourself, but because you are protecting your peace, your health, and your own life. You deserve a better future, and that future begins with the very small choices you make today. If life has felt a little heavy lately, and you feel like you have been trying so hard but still do not see clear results, then this podcast episode is for you. Maybe you are looking at other people moving forward, and you keep asking yourself, when will it be my turn? But sometimes, what you need is not to run faster. Sometimes, what you really need is to come back to yourself. Focus on your own life, heal quietly, become stronger quietly, and slowly become a version of yourself that you can be proud of. Today, we will talk about how to focus on yourself, get your energy back, and keep moving forward, even when success is not clear yet. Please stay until the end, because maybe one small sentence in this episode is exactly what your heart needs to hear today. You know, even if you try your best to please the whole world, there will always be someone who does not understand you, does not like you, or does not see the value of what you are doing. And that does not mean you are not good enough. It only means you cannot spend your whole life trying to fit into other people's expectations. If you move faster than them, some people may doubt you. If you move slower than them, some people may look down on you. If you choose your own path, some people may not understand you, and they may even try to stop you. But if you live just like everyone else, they may say you have nothing special. So you see, no matter what you choose, there will always be someone who has something to say. The world is like a very big song, and every person has their own sound. Some people will hear your song and feel close to you, but some people will not be able to feel it, even if you try to speak more softly, live more correctly, or explain yourself many times. And this does not mean there is something wrong with you. It only means that not everyone is meant to understand the same song as you. Each person carries their own story, their own beliefs, their own fears, and their own wounds. So please, do not force yourself to become a sound that is pleasing to everyone. Not everyone will understand your heart, and that is okay. Your job is not to be liked by everyone. Your job is to live in a way that feels true, peaceful, and kind to yourself. I used to think that if I made more people happy, I would feel safer. I used to think that if I was good enough in other people's eyes, kind enough, hardworking enough, and successful enough, then one day I would finally be loved, accepted, and understood. But as I grow older, I slowly realize something very true. No one can walk with you in every moment of your life. Other people can love you, but they cannot live your life for you. They can give you advice, but they cannot make your choices for you. They can stay with you for one part of the journey, but no one can walk with you from the beginning to the end, through every happy day, every sad day, every failure, every moment when you feel lost, and every quiet night when you have to hold yourself and keep going. The only person who is truly there with you from beginning to end is you. It is you on the days when no one understands you. It is you in the moments when no one claps for you. It is you when everything falls apart, and you still have to find a way to stand up again. It is you when the outside world feels too loud, and your heart only wants a little peace. So please, do not spend your whole life trying to please people who may only walk with you for a short time. Do not lose your peace just to get someone's approval. Do not ignore your own feelings just because you are afraid to disappoint others. Because in the end, after all the compliments, all the criticism, all the expectations, and all the judgments, you are still the person who has to live with yourself every day. You are the one who wakes up in this body. You are the one who carries this heart. You are the one who listens to the thoughts inside your mind. And you are also the one who needs your love, your care, and your protection the most. So instead of asking, how can I make everyone happy with me? Try asking yourself, am I being kind to myself? Am I respecting my own feelings? Am I choosing a life that gives me more peace? Because a peaceful life does not begin when everyone likes you. It begins when you stop leaving yourself behind just to be accepted by others. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is not to become perfect in the eyes of the world. The strongest thing you can do is to become a good friend to yourself. A friend who listens to you. A friend who forgives you. A friend who encourages you. And a friend who holds your hand and helps you keep walking, even when no one else is beside you. Think about it. When you focus too much on the outside world, you slowly lose your power. You waste your time on things that do not help your growth. You watch what other people are doing. You wonder why they are moving faster than you. You compare your real life with their best moments. And little by little, you start to feel like you are not good enough. You begin to care too much about what people think, and their words can make you doubt yourself. That is the real energy leak. Your energy is not gone because you are weak. It is gone because you are using it in the wrong place. Instead of building your own life, you are watching other people's lives. Instead of asking, what should I do next? You keep asking, what will they think of me? But when you focus on yourself, your energy comes back. You use your time to do something truly meaningful for your life. You focus on your own path by building better habits, learning new skills, healing your heart, and growing little by little. And this is when something magical begins to happen. Your time, your mind, and your heart finally start moving in one direction. Maybe real success begins here, not by chasing the world, but by bringing your energy back to yourself. The only way to grow is to stay long enough with one goal, one vision, and give your full energy to it. Real growth needs time, patience, and practice. If you keep setting a goal, then giving up too soon, then changing to another path, you may feel busy, but you are not truly building anything deep. You are only moving from one beginning to another beginning. You plant many seeds, but you pull them out before they can grow roots. Then you may wonder, why is my life not changing? But maybe you are not lacking talent. Maybe your energy is just too spread out. When you choose one path and stay with it long enough, your skills become stronger, your mind becomes clearer, and your small daily efforts begin to create real results. So do not leave too early just because progress feels slow. Sometimes the dream is not wrong. You just need to stay long enough to grow with it. This kind of focus may look quiet from the outside, but inside, it is very strong. Day by day, you become clearer. You know what you want. You know what matters to you. You know what kind of person you want to become. And when you know yourself better, you stop comparing so much. You stop asking, why am I not like them? And you begin asking, how can I become better than I was yesterday? That question can change your life, because the real competition is not between you and other people. The real competition is between the old version of you and the new version of you. The old version may be afraid, tired, unsure, and easily distracted. But the new version is learning to be patient, focused, calm, and brave. And slowly people will notice. When you become better, you do not need to shout for attention. Your energy changes. Your work changes. Your confidence changes. The way you speak, the way you walk, the way you make decisions, everything slowly becomes different. And when you become excellent at what you do, the right people will naturally come closer to you. Opportunities will begin to find you. People will ask how you did it. Some people may want to work with you. Some people may feel inspired by you. Some people who once ignored you may finally notice your growth. But by then, something inside you has already changed. You no longer need their approval as much as before, because you did not build yourself for them. You built yourself for you. You built yourself because you were tired of feeling small. You built yourself because you wanted peace. You built yourself because you knew there was more inside you. You built yourself because one day, you decided not to abandon your own life anymore. And that is why focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is one of the most important things you can do. And this is something I really want you to remember. If you wait for everyone to understand you before you begin, you may wait forever. Because everyone sees life through their own fear, their own past, and their own limits. Some people will tell you to be careful because they are afraid. Some people will tell you your dream is too big because they have never tried something big themselves. Some people will doubt you, not because you cannot do it, but because they cannot imagine themselves doing it. But their limits are not your limits. Their fear is not your future. Their opinion is not your life. No great person became great by asking for permission before following their dream. They did not wait until everyone believed in them. They did not wait until the world gave them a perfect sign. They believed first, and the world understood later. They kept walking when people doubted them. They kept building when people laughed at them. They kept choosing their path, even when no one could see the result yet. And my friend, in this world, the one person you can always come back to is yourself. Other people may support you, love you, and walk with you for a while, but no one can live your life for you. No one can carry your dreams, your pain, your choices, and your future the way you can. So please do not abandon yourself just to be accepted by others. Stand with yourself. Believe in yourself. Choose yourself again and again. Because when you become your own safe place, you stop needing the whole world to understand you before you begin. And if you can remember only one idea after this episode, please let it be this. Your life becomes stronger every time you stop waiting for permission and start believing in yourself. Every time you choose your own path, protect your peace, and take one small step forward, you are building a life that truly belongs to you. So keep going, my friend. Trust your quiet growth. Trust your own timing. And never forget, you do not need the whole world to believe in you before you believe in yourself. I hope this space helps you breathe a little slower, feel a little lighter, and become kinder to yourself, because you truly deserve that peace. How was your day today? Was there anything that made you smile? Or were there moments that made you feel tired, stressed, or a little heavy inside at the end of the day? This morning, I visited an old coffee shop again after many years. I sat at the same table, looking at the sunlight coming through the same window, and suddenly I realized that nothing here had really changed. The only thing that changed was me. I had become a completely different person. A few years ago, I used to come to this coffee shop very often, but at that time, my mind was always full of worries and thoughts. I was sitting there, but my mind was somewhere else. Some days I worried about work. Some days I felt stressed about the future. And sometimes, just one sentence from someone could make me overthink the whole night. Back then, I did not even notice how peaceful this coffee shop really was. I did not notice the soft music playing quietly in the corner. I did not notice how beautiful the sunlight looked on the table in the morning. I did not notice the smell of coffee. I also did not notice the trees outside the window moving gently in the wind. All of those beautiful things were always there, but at that time, my mind was too busy to see them. I only focused on the things that were wrong. One small pressure could make the whole day feel heavy. One small problem could make me feel like life was very stressful. And because there was so much anxiety inside me, I started to see pressure, problems, and disappointment everywhere. But today, when I sat here again after many years, I realized something important. Maybe the world did not change that much. The thing that changed the most was the way I looked at the world. And that is what I want to talk about with you today. Focus on the good things. Not to force ourselves to be positive all the time. Not to pretend that life has no problems. But to learn how to see life more fully, more fairly, and more gently with ourselves. Have you ever realized that the world you are living in is sometimes a reflection of what is happening inside you? Why does one person see a problem as an opportunity, while another person sees it as stress and trouble? It is because our inner beliefs work like a magnet. If deep inside we always feel, "I am not good enough," the brain will start looking for proof of that belief. We remember negative comments for a very long time. We remember failures, awkward moments, or the times we felt uncomfortable. But kind words, quiet efforts, and small progress are often ignored very easily. It is not because life is only full of negative things. It is because the mind unconsciously chooses information that matches the story it already believes. In psychology, this is called confirmation bias. In simple words, the brain is like a detective. It keeps searching for evidence to prove that your belief is correct. For example, if you believe you are unlucky, your mind will mostly notice the times you failed or were rejected. Then your brain whispers, "See? I told you, you are not lucky." But the truth is, many good things are still happening around you. We often ignore them because we think they are normal. We forget the kind people who helped us. We forget the moments when everything finally became okay. We forget the small opportunities that appeared exactly when we needed them most. Remember this, the good things are still there. Sometimes, they are simply waiting for you to notice them again. Confirmation bias does not only affect the way we see ourselves. It also affects the way we see other people, our relationships, and even life itself. For example, the same rain can create very different feelings inside us, depending on how we look at it. If we choose a negative view, we may only notice our new clothes getting wet, our clean shoes becoming dirty, the slippery road, and our plans being interrupted. At that moment, the rain feels annoying, as if it came only to ruin our day. But if we look at it more gently, we may see something different. After many hot days, the rain makes the air cooler. The trees by the road look fresh again. The smell of wet earth feels calm and peaceful. Sometimes the rain even gives us a reason to slow down, drink tea more slowly, sit quietly near the window, and let our hearts rest for a while. The same thing can happen with a busy day. We can look at it in very different ways. If we only see it through stress and exhaustion, we may think, my life is always busy. I am too overwhelmed. Nobody understands how hard I am trying. But with another perspective, we may realize something else. At least we still have a chance to work, to learn new things, and to create value for someone. And if we think more deeply, maybe it is also a kind of blessing that society still needs our work and contribution. Because if not, maybe the thing making us anxious today would not be busyness anymore, but the feeling of being lost without a job or a purpose to wake up for each day. When we look at life this way, the pressure does not completely disappear. But inside us, a little gratitude can begin to grow. Gratitude that we still have the ability to work, still have opportunities to grow, and still have a place and a role in this large world. And this is why we need to remember one simple thing. Life is never only one side. It is not only good, and it is not only bad. Life often moves between both sides like a pendulum. There is joy and sadness, comfort and challenge, what we want and what we do not expect. Sometimes we think happiness means life must stay at the best point forever. But life does not work that way. Life has a rhythm. We breathe in and we breathe out. There is daytime and there is nighttime. In the same way, life has both easy days and hard days. Without busy and tiring work days, we may not fully enjoy a slow weekend morning. Without moments of self-doubt, we may not appreciate the times when we are brave enough to step out of our comfort zone. Sadness is not always the enemy. Sometimes it is a quiet space that helps joy become more meaningful. So when you fail, or when life feels heavy, remember, this is only one temporary place on the pendulum. It will not stay there forever. One sad page does not mean the whole book is a tragedy. When we understand this, we stop seeing one bad moment as the whole story. We begin to see life more fully. I remember there was a very long time in my life when I almost never noticed the good things I already had. Every morning I woke up thinking only about work, pressure, unfinished goals, and all the things in life that still felt not enough. I always thought that maybe I would finally become happy when I had more money, more success, or a more stable life. But strangely, the more I chased big things, the more I forgot the small things I was already receiving every day. I forgot how lucky it was to wake up with a healthy body. I forgot that being able to walk outside, eat a meal by myself, or take a deep breath was already something many people in the world wish they could have again. There was a period when I worked too much, slept very little, and my mind was always under pressure. And only when my body became truly tired did I realize something important. I had treated my health like something normal for a very long time. I only noticed it when I started losing the peaceful feeling inside my body. From that moment, I began to slow down a little more. Some mornings, the first thing I thought was no longer, how many things do I need to finish today? Instead, I thought, I'm grateful that I still have a new day to live. It sounds very simple, but when I truly felt that thought in my heart, something inside me changed a lot. I started appreciating the things I once ignored. A quiet morning, a body still strong enough to work, a loved one still beside me, a normal day where nothing terrible happened. And I realized that happiness is not always about having a perfect life. Sometimes happiness comes from being able to notice the good things that have been quietly around us all along. You know, sometimes the thing we need to change is not the whole world outside us. Sometimes, the first thing we need to take care of is the way we look at life from inside ourselves. Because when the mind is tired, the world also starts to feel heavier. But when the mind becomes a little calmer, we begin to notice the gentle things that were always there. Maybe it is a new day to start again. Maybe it is a body that is still trying its best for us every day. Maybe it is someone who still quietly cares about us. Or maybe it is simply a small chance to learn something new. So the next time you feel like the world is being too hard on you, try to pause for a moment and ask yourself, is the world really that harsh? Or am I being too harsh with myself? Changing your perspective does not make problems disappear immediately, but it can stop those problems from completely drowning you. It can turn a burden into a lesson, a rainy day into a quiet moment to rest, a mistake into a chance to understand yourself better. And even a normal day can become something worth being grateful for. I hope that after today's podcast, you will become a little gentler with your own mind. Try to clean the dust from the filter inside you, so you can notice the good things that are still quietly present around your life. In this episode, I want to talk about something we often forget: recognizing our small efforts. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you felt proud of yourself? Was it when you reached a big achievement? When you finished an important project? When someone praised you, recognized you, or told you that you did a great job? If your answer is yes, you are not alone. Many of us only allow ourselves to feel proud when we have a clear, big, and visible result. We only recognize ourselves when we succeed, when we are praised, or when other people notice us. But we forget that before those achievements, we had to try so hard on the days when no one could see us. We only look at the destination, but we forget every small step we have taken. We only ask, what have I achieved? But we rarely ask, how much have I tried? Why do we always think that what we have done is too small to be proud of? Maybe it is because our pride has been taken away without us even noticing. And it is often taken away when we use the standards of other people to measure our own life. Maybe the problem is not that you have not tried hard enough. Maybe the problem is that you are using the standards of the outside world to judge your very personal journey. We look at other people who seem more successful, faster, and more outstanding, and then we start to doubt our own path. We think we must achieve the same things as them, at the same age, at the same speed, and in the same way, so we can finally be good enough. But the truth is, we all start from different places. We are like different flowers. Some flowers bloom in spring. Some flowers bloom in winter. You cannot blame a lotus flower for not blooming at the same time as an apricot blossom. In the same way, every person has their own situation and their own pressure. So do not compare your first page with someone else's 10th chapter and hurt yourself because of it. Only compare who you are today with who you were yesterday. As long as you are still moving forward, that is already something beautiful. Do not use someone else's ruler to measure your life. Just look back and be proud of how far you have come. You are doing great, and that is more than enough. Maybe it is time for us to redefine what it means to be proud. Pride is not only about reaching a big achievement, receiving praise from someone, or having a clear result to show the world that you are doing well. There is another kind of effort that we often forget to recognize. It is the small and quiet effort that happens every day. Have you ever woken up with a deep sigh, feeling like the whole world was heavy, but you still chose to get out of bed, wash your face, and begin a new day? The moment you did not let sadness keep you under the warm blanket, that was already a victory. Did you realize how strong you were from the very first moment of the day? Or maybe there was a moment when you opened an English book, listened to a new podcast, or started a task you had never done before, and then you felt discouraged because you thought, why am I so slow? But instead of closing the book, you chose to read one more page or listen for one more minute. That small, just a little more, is the moment when you are truly growing. Not only the moment when you have already become good at everything. There are also days when you feel very tired, but instead of taking your anger out on others or blaming yourself, you choose to take a shower, eat a proper meal, or stay quiet and listen to yourself. You are learning to love yourself through the smallest actions. These things usually do not create a big winning moment. No one stands up and claps for you. No medal or congratulations appears. That is why we easily think these efforts are normal or not enough to be proud of. But the truth is, these small steps are the things that are quietly changing your life. The world may not see your change right now, but deep inside, you can feel it. Every time you do not give up when you are very tired, you are building your strength. Every time you try to live a little better, you are building your character. Every time you are kinder to yourself, you are creating healing energy inside your heart. These things may be very quiet. No one may stand there and clap for you. No one may say congratulations. But these small choices are slowly building the strongest part of who you are. Because success is not always loud. It is not only in big achievements that the whole world can see. Sometimes, success happens in a very quiet moment, when you are so tired and you want to stop, but you still choose to take one more small step. And maybe that is the moment when you grow the most. Because in that moment, you do not need to win against anyone else. You are winning against the part of yourself that wanted to give up, the part that wanted to stop, the part that thought you could not keep going anymore. It is like small seeds growing roots under the ground. No one can see them growing every day, but those roots help the tree stay strong when the storm comes. We are the same. The deepest changes in life usually do not begin with one big moment. They begin with very small and quiet things. One time you do not leave yourself behind. One time you try to live a little better. One time you choose to keep going even when your heart feels tired. And all of those things are worth being proud of. Strength is not built on easy days. Strength is built in the moments when you feel the most tired, the most discouraged, and almost do not want to continue anymore. Because when everything is going well, anyone can keep walking. When you have energy, motivation, and support, trying is not too difficult. But your true self does not appear when life is easy. It appears on the days when you feel exhausted, but you still do not allow yourself to fall down. It is the moment when you are so tired that you only want to stop. It is the moment when everything moves so slowly that you start to doubt yourself. It is the moment when a voice in your mind keeps saying, "Give up. I cannot do this." But then you still stand up. You still do a little more. You still take one more step. You still come back to your goal, even when no one is there to cheer for you. And in that moment, you have already won. Not because you have won against other people, not because you need to prove to the world how strong you are. You have won against the weakest part inside you. The part that only wants to give up, run away, and stop trying. Success is not only in the bright achievements that the whole world can see. Success is also in the quiet moments when you feel completely tired, but you still choose to move forward. Even with one small step. No one may clap for you at that moment. No one may know how much you have fought inside your heart. But that may be your greatest victory, because you have overcome the voice in your mind that told you to give up. Every time you continue when you are exhausted, you are building more strength. Every time you do not leave yourself behind, you are building more inner power. And every time you choose to keep going, even very slowly, you are proving that you are not as easy to defeat as you once thought. Some growth does not come from the days when you shine. It comes from the days when you thought you could not continue. But in the end, you still did. And that is something truly worth being proud of. The fastest way to feel proud of yourself is to keep one small promise to yourself. It sounds simple, but it is very important. Because pride does not only come from big success, it also comes from the feeling that you can trust yourself. Think about this. If a person keeps promising themselves that tomorrow they will begin, tomorrow they will change, tomorrow they will live better, but then they always ignore that promise, little by little they will lose trust in themselves. Not because they are weak, but because they no longer believe their own words. On the other hand, when you choose one small thing and finish it, you are giving your mind new proof. I am someone who can do what I say. Maybe it is only studying for 10 minutes, cleaning your desk, taking a short walk, drinking enough water, turning off your phone earlier, or finishing one small thing that you have delayed for a long time. These things may not change your life immediately, but they change the way you see yourself. You start to feel a little more disciplined, a little more reliable, a little stronger. And when this feeling is repeated every day, it becomes real pride. So do not wait until you have a big achievement before you allow yourself to feel proud. Start with one small promise and finish it today. One small thing done on a difficult day can become strong proof that you are still moving forward, you have not given up, and you can still trust yourself. So, after everything we have talked about today, maybe the message I really want to share with you is this. Do not only look at the place you have not reached yet. Look back at the road you have already walked. Try to look back at yourself 1 year ago, or 2 years ago. Maybe you have not achieved everything you want yet. But look closely, you have changed so much. There were things that used to break you, but now you know how to face them more calmly. There were days when you used to feel very weak, but now you are stronger in ways you may not even notice. Your habits, your thoughts, and the way you see life may have grown so much because of the small efforts you repeat every day. And the most beautiful thing is that most of this growth happens quietly. There is no applause. There is no big, bright moment. There is only you, on very normal days, still trying to live a little better. Other people may not see that journey, but you should see it. You should recognize it. Because true strength, growth, and inner power are often built in those quiet days. So do not wait until you reach the top before you allow yourself to feel proud. Be proud because you are still climbing slowly and bravely every single day. Today's topic is very close to my heart, because I believe many of us are quietly exhausted, not because we are not strong, but because we are trying too hard to prove that we are enough. This thought came to me last weekend, when I was sitting in a small coffee shop, trying to finish some work. At the table next to me, there was a group of young people talking about a project. At first, they looked excited. Everyone seemed to have ideas to share. But after a while, I noticed one person in the group. He talked a lot. Whenever someone started to speak, he quickly stopped them. He shared many numbers, talked about his own experience, and kept saying, "Trust me, I know this best." At first, he sounded confident. But slowly, the energy at the table changed. Some people became quiet. One person looked down. Another gave a small smile, but it did not feel happy. In that moment, I did not want to judge him. I just suddenly thought about myself. Maybe we have all had moments like that. Moments when we tried too hard to prove that we were smart, right, or better than others. Maybe deep inside we were not really confident. Maybe we were just afraid of being ignored, underestimated, or not valued. But the more we try to prove that we are the best, the more tired and lonely we may become. So in today's episode, let's slow down and look at a quiet question together. Why do we sometimes feel the need to prove ourselves so much? Maybe the need to be the best is not always about confidence. Sometimes it comes from a quiet fear inside us. The fear of not being enough, not being respected, or not being seen. And when we finally understand that fear, we can stop running after approval from others. We can begin to grow in a calmer, healthier, and more honest way. So instead of asking, how can I prove that I am right? Maybe a better question is, what can I learn from this moment? And maybe this is where real growth begins. Not when we try to prove that we know more than others, but when we finally have the courage to admit, there is still so much I don't know. This reminds me of Charlie Munger, one of the most respected investors and thinkers of our time, and the longtime business partner of Warren Buffett. One of his powerful ideas was that knowing what you don't know can sometimes be more valuable than simply being brilliant. And I really love this thought, because it feels honest. It reminds us that real intelligence is not about pretending we have all the answers. It is about having the humility to say, I still have something to learn. People who live with this kind of learning mindset often grow much further than people who believe they already know everything. Because when we think we know it all, our mind becomes like a closed room. No fresh air can come in, no new light can enter, no new ideas can grow. But when we stay open to learning, our mind becomes like a window. Every new lesson brings in more light. Every mistake can teach us something. Every person we meet can show us a new way to see the world. That is why many people go far in life. Not because they are always the smartest person in the room, but because they are willing to keep learning. They keep their heart open to learning. They listen more gently. They learn from mistakes without hating themselves. They learn from others without feeling smaller. And slowly, day by day, they become wiser, calmer, and more honest with themselves. Maybe real growth is not about becoming perfect. Maybe it is simply about ending each day with one small lesson in your heart. And when we understand this, the idea of being the best begins to lose its power. It no longer feels like a clear goal, because the best is always changing. The world is too big, and every place has a different standard. You may be the best in one room today, but tomorrow, in another room, you may meet someone who knows more, sees deeper, or does things in a way you have never imagined before. It is like a small fish living in a small pond. In that pond, the fish may be the fastest. It may feel proud. It may believe, this is my whole world. But when it swims into a bigger river, everything changes. Suddenly, it sees other fish. Some are stronger, some are faster, and some know how to move through the waves with more skill. At first, this can feel scary. It can make the fish feel small. But the river is not there to shame the fish. The river is there to show the fish how much more it can become. In the same way, meeting someone better than us does not mean we are not good enough. It simply means our world is expanding. And when our world expands, we also get the chance to expand who we are. We learn new ways to think. We discover new skills. We see new possibilities inside ourselves. Real growth is not about standing above everyone else. It is about becoming stronger, wiser, and more courageous than the person you were yesterday. This is the heart of a growth mindset. When you measure your progress by your own journey, you stop turning life into a race against everyone around you. You begin to grow with more peace, more patience, and more honesty. But the need to prove that we are the best is not always a sign of confidence. Sometimes it is a quiet sign of fear inside us. The fear of not being seen, not being respected, or not being enough. Deep down, many people believe they must look impressive to be valued. They think they must always be right to be respected. They think they must be better than others to feel safe. So they start to look outside themselves for proof. They need praise to feel valuable. They need attention to feel important. They need other people to say, "You are good, before they can believe it themselves. In psychology, this is connected to external validation. It means we depend too much on other people's approval to feel good about ourselves. When we depend too much on praise, our confidence becomes weak and unstable. If people praise us today, we feel good. We feel smart, strong, and confident. But if people ignore us tomorrow, or if someone else gets more attention, we may suddenly feel small, invisible, or not good enough. Then we try even harder to prove ourselves. We speak louder. We try harder to be noticed. We want to win every small moment, because attention makes us feel safe for a short time. But that feeling does not last. Soon we need more praise, more attention, and more proof that we matter. Slowly, we fall into a tiring loop. We prove ourselves. We receive praise. We feel better for a moment. And then we feel unsure again. This is why trying to prove that we are the best can feel so exhausting. The real problem is not always that other people do not praise us enough. The deeper problem may be that inside, we still do not truly believe we are enough. So even when people clap for us, compliment us, or admire us, the good feeling only stays for a short time. After that, the same quiet question comes back. Am I really good enough? It is like holding a cup with a small crack at the bottom. Other people may pour praise into it. They may give you attention, compliments, and recognition. For a moment, you feel full. You feel important. You feel enough. But because the cup is cracked, that feeling slowly leaks away. Soon you feel empty again, and you start needing more praise, more attention, and more proof that you matter. That is why external validation can never give us lasting peace. It can make us feel good for a short time, but it cannot replace real self-worth. People who are truly strong and secure are different. They do not spend all their energy trying to convince everyone that they are number one. They do not need to make every conversation a competition. They do not need to be the loudest person in the room to feel valuable. Instead, they focus on becoming better. They keep learning. They improve themselves quietly. They create real value through their actions, not just through their words. Because deep down, they understand something important. You do not need to prove you are the best to be worthy. You only need to keep growing, keep learning, and keep becoming more true. And this is why truly strong people do not spend all their energy proving themselves. They are too busy learning, improving, and becoming better in their own quiet way. But to grow, we need to see people who are better than us in a new way. When we meet someone more skilled, more experienced, or more successful, we often fall into one of two traps. Sometimes we feel too small. We admire them so much that we begin to doubt ourselves. We think maybe I can never reach that level. Other times we feel hidden envy. Instead of learning from them, we try to make them smaller in our mind. We tell ourselves maybe they are just lucky or maybe they are not really that good. But both reactions take us away from growth. Feeling too small makes us forget our own potential. Feeling jealous makes us close our heart to the lesson. Real confidence chooses a different path. It does not worship people, and it does not reject them. It simply observes and learns. When confident people meet someone better, they do not feel attacked. They ask, what can this person teach me? Maybe they learn discipline, courage, clear thinking, communication, or calmness under pressure. And if that person has weaknesses, they learn from those too. Maybe the lesson is, I can learn from their strength, but I do not have to copy their whole life. That is a peaceful way to grow. You do not need to compare yourself with everyone. You do not need to put anyone above you or below you. You can simply take what is useful, leave what is not, and keep becoming your own kind of strong. And after we learn from others, we need to come back to ourselves, because in the end, the best person to compare yourself with is not someone else. It is who you were yesterday. When you choose yesterday's version of yourself as your measure, your growth becomes something you can control. And focusing on what you can control is always one of the smartest choices you can make. You cannot control other people's talent, success, speed, or opinion of you. But you can control how much effort you give today. You can control the attitude you bring into the day. You can control the small habits you repeat. And you can control the next step in front of you. Maybe today, that step is reading 5 more pages. Maybe you learn 3 new words. Maybe you wake up a little earlier. Maybe you spend less time on your phone. Maybe you finish one small task. Maybe you say sorry when you know you are wrong. Maybe you ask one better question. Maybe you practice one skill for 10 minutes. Maybe you write down one thing you are grateful for. Maybe you speak to yourself with more kindness. These things may look small, but they are real victories. Because growth is not always loud. Sometimes, growth is simply making one better choice than yesterday. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, shared a very simple but powerful idea. If you improve by just 1% every day, after 1 year, you will become much better than where you started. A small change today may not look impressive tomorrow. But if you keep doing it, day after day, those small steps can become a big transformation. So, my friend, life is not a race where we have to push others down just to feel ahead. Life is a journey of becoming. The real goal is not to be better than everyone else. The real goal is to keep growing beyond the person we were yesterday. Someone else's strength does not make you weaker. Someone else's success does not take away your value. It only reminds you that growth is still possible, and that there is still more inside you waiting to be discovered. So do not be afraid of people who are better than you. Learn from them. Let them inspire you. Then return to your own path and keep moving. Maybe today your progress is small, but small steps still matter. Quiet growth still counts. You do not need to prove that you are the best to be worthy. You only need to stay open, stay humble, and keep becoming better in your own quiet way. And one day, when you look back, I hope you can say with peace, I am not the same person I used to be. I have grown. I have changed. I have become a little better than the person I was yesterday. That is already enough. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with me today. If this episode helped you feel better, I hope you will stay with me for more quiet conversations. If you can remember only one thing today, remember this. You do not need to be better than others to be worthy. You only need to keep growing in your own honest way,